Your campaign for the chamber? And you said that the case shakes, that it would return with a new face from the South, from communism and fascism. What do you expect from the world? He wants it to be handled with cordiality. Now, no, he is definitely not coming here anymore. Not at all. Not for any reason. I don't think he's coming here anymore. If he comes back here, he'll be arrested. He's going to have a meeting now at 11 o'clock. What will the strategy be? I didn't even know about the meeting. Is it going to happen now? It was only virtual. Virtual. Oh, virtually.
Guys, was there any?
It was a surprise for everyone.
Was there any communication with you, with any American authority, since the beginning of this tariff thing, even when it was? I was with
authorities around the world, all over, the whole world. Okay? I built an excellent relationship with authorities from all over the world. I have friends from several countries. It's really about making friends, right? Acquaintances from various countries.
But specifically with someone from the United
States? Yes, of course, the United States.
So, sir, and then?
Before, I always talk to people from the American government.
Did you ask them to lower the tariff for Brazil? It's not
about asking. Look, you have to know. You have to sit down and ask what they want. What are the conditions? Now, if you don't talk, everyone is going to suffer. It's not just exporters or people in agribusiness or some business owners. Everyone is going to suffer.
And this investigation about PIX, which was implemented during your administration.
You're talking about an investigation. What happened with PIX that led to this case? There? Before PIX, which was from my administration, from November 2020, you used to do transactions mostly with TED, DOC, or credit cards. So those companies lost money, I believe. I believe that bankers lost about $20 billion a year from TED and DOC with the arrival of PIX. There's nothing wrong with PIX. It's all good. No problem at all.
Professor, I think PIX should be kept. There's no reason for an investigation, right?
It depends. If someone is laundering money, then that's a different story.
This issue of commercial competitiveness.
That issue, I don't think you understood what's being. There's a game going on.
Do you think, regarding commercial competitiveness, there's any?
There's PIX. There might be something similar, but nothing quite like ours. You can transfer whatever you want, no problem at all, in just a few seconds. PIX moves over 100 billion reais per day.
So you support PIX?
Yeah, of course. PIX has even reduced. You don't hear about deaths, robberies, ATMs, or payday crimes anymore, do you? PIX has helped a lot. Now, there are people who aren't satisfied, who want to make money off of it. Even though Lula said he didn't want to tax PIX, that decision by the Federal Revenue Service to monitor it was the first step toward taxing it. When I tell you that the daily movement is over 100 billion reais, just imagine if you put, it used to be 0.38% for the CPMF back then. If you put 0.2% there, what would happen?
Then there was Gage's proposal too. I was the president.
No, the government never came to me in a definitive way, saying, let's tax PIX. No, there were people who wanted to tax PIX. But I was the president, and there was no tax. My government was the only one that reduced taxes. Unless someone tells me otherwise, previous governments didn't reduce taxes. Here, all Haddad knows how to do is tax.
Yes, President, dear sir.
Can you show that reason? No. It's a supreme humiliation. I'm 70 years old, a former president of the Republic, with no corruption charges, went through tough times for 4 years, pandemic, war, water crisis, Brumadinho. And we managed, with our economic team led by Gages, for Brazil to finish 2022 in the black.
How was the approach, the excess, their arrival at your house? We're live on SBT.
Guys treated me well, no problem. There was no act of hostility there, no.
It was made clear right there that Dr. Nozalero would be needed.
What's that? To put on the Telerio, that's it. And search and seizure. Who's going to decide? It's not me. Someone has to talk to that Donald Trump guy.
Is there
anyone from the government to talk to him? Answer me.
He told me about the possibility of new trade sanctions, even against other ministers besides Alexander de Moraes. Do you have any information?
What came from the American government, from NATO, whoever is negotiating? For example, oil with Russia will get 100%. I negotiated diesel with Putin before the war. I negotiated fertilizers with Putin. Maybe fertilizers will be on the table too. Where are you going to get fertilizer from? Since Brazil, right, limits itself. What Russia has, we have in abundance at the mouth of the Madeira River, but it's marked as indigenous land. What kind of country is this? How long are we going to keep depending on them?
President, we're listening. Hello, you. We wanted to know how you see this restriction, even on the weekend. Besides the limit, going out at night and extending it until the end of September.
Supreme humiliation. That's the goal. There's nothing against me or anyone else. No one tried to stage a coup in Brazil, and he wants to keep pushing that. These poor people are sentenced to 14, 17 years in prison. Women, mothers, elderly people with illnesses. This is an immense inhumanity.
Would your possible arrest make things worse with Trump?
Man, I can't say anything for sure to you. You must have seen his 5 statements that he has a special fondness for me. I was president. I treated him with dignity, obviously. This country has a GDP 14 times bigger than ours. It's the biggest economic and military power in the world. Like I told you, there were no tariffs on steel or aluminum with me in 2019. Other things happened. I waived the visa requirement for Americans to come here. We had proposals. He, unfortunately, was not re-elected. So, there would have been greater American participation in the United States, not China.
Do you think you might run away? Do you have any intention of fleeing?
Come, I'm not going to answer.
There. Or look for an embassy to take shelter. Was that ever discussed?
Now, do you think there was an attempted coup in Rio de Janeiro? I don't think so. When I talk to you guys somewhere, having some sugarcane juice, with nothing turned on, all of you say there was no attempted coup. President, about the flash drive, we. Look, someone asked to go to the bathroom. I pointed out where it was, and they came back with the flash drive in their hand. I've never opened a flash drive in my life. I don't even have a laptop at home to use a flash drive. We get worried about that. If it had something compromising, I'm not a criminal. If it did, would it be available there? No, I have no idea at all. I've never opened a flash drive in my life. No, I'm not suggesting anything. I think I'm just surprised. I'll ask my wife if the flash drive was hers. They came here. I don't know what they took. I have no idea. Last time they were here, they took a stack of papers, mine, which was the government's record. Everything I was going to do in any state, an interview with you guys, and look, I lost that source, just like that.
Are you afraid of possibly being arrested?
Anything can happen. When you see old ladies getting arrested. 3 weeks ago, a woman with 7 children was sentenced to 14 years in prison. I can't talk to him, not even through you. I'm violating the court orders just by being here. He'll keep doing his work over there. He's 41 years old. He's a smart guy, speaks English, speaks Spanish, and even speaks Arabic pretty well. And this closeness with the Trump family, with the American Parliament, started before the 2018 elections. And he's over there fighting for freedom. From what it looks like, he's going to lose his mandate. From what it looks like, through the disciplinary process, he's going to be kicked out of the federal police. It's relentless persecution. What was the crime? They talk about an armed attempt, about a coup d'etat. Was any weapon seized? Yesterday, I told you when leaving the Senate. Go ask the legislative police from the Senate or the House. Ask if anything was seized in Rio de Janeiro. Any weapon. There wasn't. Who was in command of that?
President, in previous situations, you once said you helped, even transferring up to $2 million to Eduardo. Did those supports stop, or will they continue? You can't talk about it, but is there anything along those lines?
I think that's enough, right? I appreciate whoever sent money to my account via Pix. I shouldn't have done that. He's there with his wife and 2 small children, one of them just 2 years old, and as a father, I helped. Now, he stirred up a bit of a fuss among some people across Brazil, which he shouldn't have done. The money is mine. It's not from the cash register. And 2, it's not corruption money. I gave it to him. Huh? But what's the problem with not having $14,000 at home? Every dollar that's there, when I keep dollars at home, I make sure to attach the receipt from Banco do Brasil.
Did that money also have a receipt?
All of them had receipts. And another thing, the money was in the account. It's not brand new, okay? Always withdrawn from Banco do Brazil right next door.
If your afternoon schedule, the rest of us have an agenda. Of course, everything was a surprise.
Let's just keep living life as usual, right? I'm not surprised that this happened today. There. I'm not surprised, because the persecution continues. I read the document. It's 500 pages. I read the document. There's nothing there. I'll say it again here. I think I'm repeating myself here. The federal police report, the federal police investigation, doesn't place me in Rio de Janeiro. Garner is the one who puts me there. I'm being charged with damage to property. I was in the United States. I think no one doubts that. How could I have broken something, identified something, and been in the United States at the same time?
Couldn't you have asked people not to do that?
Look, the GSI knew about Rio de Janeiro. So much so that ABIN sent more than 30 messages to the GSI saying there could be violent protests. When I left, the camps pretty much ceased to exist. They gradually faded away in Brasilia until Wednesday. Then on Thursday, people started being called up. You have to see who called them. In the early hours of. On Sunday, there were about 100 buses in the camp area. Why didn't they take down the license plates of those buses? Now, what was actually done? Why did Flavio Dino make 190 cameras disappear? Those would have proven that the destruction happened before the people from the camp even arrived. Isn't that strange? And he's going to judge me? He's going to judge me? Is Mr. Alexander de Moraes going to judge me? They didn't find a single piece of paper there, not even a green and yellow fist. They found it with the retired general on his laptop. He still hasn't been questioned.
Every day they say you're going to be arrested. Are you ready for prison?
I always dream of justice. Always dream of justice. Now, what's been happening in the investigations? Arbitrariness. And look,
Well, hello there, folks.
entering here without authorization. He can run for office, and he can run for office. He'd win by a landslide, right? He could be the most voted senator in Sao Paulo. Just like Michel here, like Bruno Scheid, who's a friend. Also over in Rondônia, like Carol from Tonia and Carol Bolsonaro. In Santa Catarina, like before. In Rio Grande do Sul, like Captain Alberto Neto in Amazonas.
Do you believe that even if he's out of the country, he won't be out of the picture like that?
He won't be out of the picture. He won't be out. Now, so many good people outside Brazil, Rodrigo Constantino, Paulo Figueiredo, Lula Lins Grillo, so many people, Alan dos Santos, persecuted for their opinions, for their words. You guys have already seen a colleague of yours now, in Rio Grande do Sul, hit with an absurd fine, and even jail time, just because she published the salary of a public prosecutor. Is this democracy? Now, what Trump always emphasizes, since he was mentioned here, is freedom of speech, the First Amendment of the United States. And here, there are lawsuits from the United States against Alexander de Moraes due to abuses, secret orders of abuse. What happened in the 2022 elections? The scales were tipped in Lula's favor. I couldn't do live streams from the Alvorada Palace. I couldn't show footage of Lula defending abortion, defending cell phone thieves. I couldn't show footage from September 7th. Footage of me at the UN. Now, I could show that. On the other hand, people could call me a genocidal maniac, no problem at all. They even called me a pedophile, no problem, none at all. And in the final stretch, we lost 1.5 million radio ads in the Northeast. At the same time, the other side was saying they were going to end DST3, Mundo de Garantia, Cora Extra. The TSE worked hard against my candidacy and in favor of the other. And the mission. Just imagine, mission given and mission accomplished. If we could do a poll about mission given and mission accomplished, what mission was that? Resolutions between March and the election can't be made. Or if they are, they don't apply to that election. There were 3 resolutions, all to take down the page, to attack the right. Remember the so-called coup-plotting businessman? Heitor Enrique, the one who sent the emoji. The goal there was to take out Luciano Enrique, who had 10 million followers, to remove him from the electoral process. Luciano Enrique is now ineligible. Why is he ineligible? He wasn't even running for anything. The endless persecution. And now, the ultimate humiliation. I'm under house arrest. I have to stay home. I can't talk to my son. I've never seen anything like this. I can't talk to my own son, who isn't a criminal, isn't a bandit. The message reaching the United States is that the American Parliament is a criminal parliament. Because my son has contact with them and talks to them. And he's over there fighting for freedom. A smart kid, a federal police officer. In 2018, the most voted in Brazil's history, he had to seek refuge himself because when he went there during Carnival, that Lindbergh foreigner tried to get his passport revoked. And Alexander Moraes passed it on to the prosecutor. In 5 days, on the 18th day, my son said, "Dad, they're waiting for me to come back." To issue the order, "I'm not going back." He said, hours later, Gino requested the case be closed, and hours after that, on the same day, the Minister of Generalidade closed it. Is that persecution or not, huh? What was my crime? My bridge. The guy said here, coup draft. Where's the draft? There is no draft. There's nothing. I can't talk with ministers, with the heads of the armed forces, about constitutional provisions. GLO was on my mind for 4 years. Guarantee of law and order. Why was it on my mind? If there's a problem anywhere in Brazil, you declare a GLO. Was a GLO declared in Brasilia? It wasn't. Oh, you thought about it. You talked about it. Opinion crime, freedom of expression. I repeat, when we filed a petition with the TSE, right after the elections, it was denied. And a fine of 22 million reais. Has anyone ever heard of someone filing a petition in a case and a judge being fined for it? Does anyone know about this? 22 million. There were more petitions, and people said, we're not going to file them. Why not? It could go up to 200 million. They could even revoke the party's registration. I asked, within the rules, what can we do? Shall we talk? And so we went to talk. And we talked about the site, about defense. What's the problem? Not a single step was taken. When you talk about site and defense, the first step is to call the councils. Did anyone call the councils? When you talk about the site, after calling the councils, you send a message to Parliament asking for authorization for the decree. Did anyone do that? There wasn't even anything. Nothing. And for what they accuse us of, they don't present any evidence. Was anything signed? Nothing was signed. Was I happy with the defeat? No. I saw the heavy hand of the TSE. Let's look for a way to question, within the 4 lines, what happened. But the arbitrariness of the TSE is enormous. It's enormous.
How is your help? Do you think there's any?
Problem jail.
All the time, man? Who would visit there? Idea. You're saying it's close. It's
An injustice, political trial, and health.
yours?
I'm 70 years old and I have stab reflex. Just that. Just that. Look, I questioned the TSE and got no answer. You see, in 2014, News requested an external audit. The conclusion of the external audit was that the ballot boxes are unauditable. Don't talk about fraud. Forget the word, fraud. Any electronic device can fail, any of them. If that weren't the case, a plane could take off and land without a pilot. You saw the media. You see hackers getting into the central bank, causing some damage, right? They siphoned $1 billion from the central bank. Just recently, too. That's the system wherever there's any electronic device. It could be open for someone to get in there. like Inquiry 1361, which you still don't know about, right? There are issues like that. Can I go now, Joel? You can go.